Hey everybody. So it's been a while since I've made a video. As a matter of fact, it's been like almost 2 months since I recorded a video, and there's reasons for that, and I'll kind of get into that in just a second. But I thought maybe to start off with, I'm just going to show you, like, I don't know if you can see out there, but I'm going to walk out there anyway, so why don't I just go ahead and do that without further ado. So I'm going to show you one of the things that I've done, and that's put up a lot of bird feeders, because one of the things that was happening, and you can see they already flew off, but there's a ton of birds. We have so many birds now that are coming into our backyard and getting pretty much a free meal, because I supply them with those black oil sunflower seeds. Got black oil sunflower seeds, and then I share scratch grains with them as well, so that way they have kind of a variety. It's like a bird paradise back here. I'll show you one of the reasons why it's kind of a bird paradise, but you can see like the feeders are empty. These were full this morning, except for the scratch, that's the scratch grains one right there. Except for the scratch grains. The scratch grains one is almost empty. I mean, it's dang close to empty. And then we were having squirrels. That was they love those black oil sunflower seeds too. Those are supposed to be for the birds. I don't mind feeding the squirrels, but I don't want to take in all the bird food. So we installed that little nuts bar that you can see over there. It's filled with peanuts. I don't think the squirrels have quite figured that out yet, but what they have figured out is that they can no longer get to the feeders, because I used to have the feeders hanging off that branch that's over there, and as you can see, they now have cones around them, so that way the squirrels can't get to them. I had to trim up some of the branches off there, because you know, squirrels, they're little smart guys. They'll try and figure out how they can like jump from a branch onto these. So I had to go ahead and take out the chainsaw and kind of cut off some of those branches and just kind of make an area to where the birds can get at the stuff, but the squirrels can't, and the squirrels have their own little feeder right over there. So that's one of the projects that I had done. Just small little projects, except for one big project, and I'll show you that in just a second. And I don't know if I ever showed, I think I'm almost positive I had a video out a while ago where I showed how I made this dry creek bed down here using the tiller, the pony tiller that was not exactly up to the task for what I needed, so I wound up selling that thing. And it went to a good home. The person that bought it seemed like he was really going to be pretty thrilled with having something like that. He didn't have a really big garden, so it was perfect for him, not for me. But what happens is, since I got this dry creek bed, you know, it kind of stops right here. The water will kind of spill off into here. We just had a huge thunderstorm last night, but you know, we had a nice dry day today. But since there's just so much water that comes this way, this is still a little bit muddy. And the guy that mows our lawn, he is a little overdue, as you can tell, because our lawn is looking a little ragged. And it doesn't take too long. With all the rain that we've been getting a really good amount of rain, which is great, because man, do we need it. So one of the things that, other projects that I did, you can see that right here, let's flip this around, is a little bird bath. Well, we had a bird bath, but what I did was I bought a little solar powered fountain. So that way it'll kind of keep it a little bit fresher, because as the water sprays up, for one thing, when it's windy, as you can see, it blows it off there. So they get kind of a fresh supply of water. So that'll work for them very well. And then another project that I don't think I covered with the video is we had issues. Oh yeah, you can see like it's definitely solar powered. I step in front of the sun, it's like goes away. And there you go. But one of the things I had a problem with is I had to come out here after a freeze and replace a lot of these pipes because they cracked. So what this is right here is actually, ooh, I need to tighten this up. I don't know how that got loose. It probably is not a big deal. I mean, all these are is heater wire to keep the pipes from freezing solid. And I got an outlet that's kind of where is, oh, there it is. That green thing right there is kind of keeping the end of the plug all nice and clean and out of the elements, so that way what I wind up doing, and I've done it once already when it was like in the middle of winter after I had already fixed the pipes, because you know these pipes have to remain unfrozen because it supplies the water to the chickens, and when the pipes got frozen and cracked, I had to come out here for a little while until I was able to repair those pipes and give the chickens water by hand, and that sucked. I remember why I went through the trouble of installing all the irrigation out here, because it's just really a pain in the butt to have to like water the chickens by hand. So yeah, this one's got it. The spigot that I've got over by the garden also has the heater wire wrapped around it, and then the spigot that's over by the chicken coop also has a wire around it. And then what I do is I have a set of extension cords that go from the solar generator that I've got in our shed out to the outlet out here, and then another one that will come out to the garden, and then I have another one that goes all the way from the garden post, which is, you can kind of see it over there. That's that. I just have the extension cord that'll come all the way over here, and I'll plug it into that. So that way, it supplies power to all of them. They all stay nice and warm, and hopefully I won't have any problems with freezing again. Oh, I also have another one that's up on the actual supply line up by the house. So hopefully with all that in place, I won't have to deal with any more frozen pipes. This year, we are having actually some good luck. As you can see, this is our corn, and got 3 rows going here. This one I have not gone through and thinned out yet, and I'll show you what this is what it looks like before I've thinned anything out. And what I mean by that is we got a lot of corn that's just growing way too close. Like you can see there's like 3 stalks on this guy right there that I'm pointing to. You can see the shadow. That right there, that's too many stalks, then it will not thrive. So I have to come over here and thin these out and just kind of play God and pick and choose which ones I'm going to keep and which ones are going to have to go, which is kind of unfortunate. But as you can see, I mean, it's doing really well. And last year we had nothing, no corn grew. I should say it wasn't corn that I planted last year. No, I take that back. Now I'm thinking about it. God, I'm just stumbling all over. But what I put out here was, I don't even remember what the heck it's called, but it's almost like corn, but it just doesn't grow any cobs. And it's more like for a privacy screen, which is really the big thing that I want from our corn, other than the fact that, you know, we're gonna get corn out of it too. So that's just a bonus point. But corn grows fairly tall. And as you can see, you know, we got all the neighbors that are around here, and you know, our neighbors are fine and all that, but you know, we like to go into our pool, and it just feels a little strange when you're kind of splashing about and knowing that, you know, anybody that just walks back here can kind of see us splash around in the pool. The plan was to like have a workshop here, but with everything that's happened in the world, the plans for the workshop, you know, I've got the foundation, but I have no workshop. With everything going on in the world right now, I just kind of had to prioritize some other things that I never in a million years thought that I would ever be doing. One of those being, you know, getting chickens. The other being like, you know, putting up that massive solar panels with the backup batteries. It's just, that stuff is just not cheap. And you know, I didn't feel like building my own chicken coop, so I did spend extra money, like actually buying, you know, prefabricated stuff. But in all fairness, this thing's rock solid. You know, I had to go through a lot though to actually make it safe for our girls, because you know, there's predators who want to get at them. We lost that one chicken, which was really a bummer, to a bobcat. And you know, I wasn't just gonna have that anymore. I'm not gonna have my chickens just sitting out here being sitting ducks, sitting chickens, something along those lines. So, you know, I had to put a lot of work into making this thing actually do what I wanted to do, which is keep out predators and, you know, make our chickens nice and safe. And then on top of that, I had to like put all the shade cloth around it. For one, it keeps the chickens a lot cooler in summertime, because it gets blazing hot out here. So it keeps them cooler in the summertime. And on top of that, we had a big problem with little birds, little finches, getting in there and hopping around trying to get at their scratch greens that we dump out. Which, you know, I don't have any problems with having birds around on our property. That's fine. But when they get in there, and especially since there's bird flu going around, I just can't have that. It could potentially get our chickens sick, and that just wasn't going to happen. So that's one of the reasons why I'm feeding the birds way the heck over there. Since I started feeding those birds and put the shade cloth, because they were still figuring out ways to get in there. Then they get stuck, so we'd have to like chase them out. And I know the poor little things are probably terrified. So I think now that we've got scratch greens and the black oil sunflower seeds out there for them to eat, I have not had a single bird come into the chicken coop, which worked out really well. So this is one of the things I just got done today. As you can see, there's a bunch of stuff that I yanked out of the ground, these big old weeds that were just kind of out of control. I'm not really sure why my lawn guy, I told him that if it's behind the string, then don't cut it down, because it's going to be our corn. And you know, it's very blatantly obvious. And he's on a riding mower, so you know, I know he hasn't touched, obviously he hasn't touched the corn, but he's not taking care of any of the stuff that goes right up to the line. And I told him that, you know, you'll be able to see, and maybe what I should do is just kind of point out, like, this is the corn, this is not the corn. You can cut all this stuff down. So it's the next day, because in my infinite intelligence and wisdom, I decided that I would not use my battery pack that I've got to accompany my recorder for audio. And the audio recorder only had like 2 bars out of, I think it's 4. And these audio recorders are just absolute energy pigs, because like 2 bars on it, halfway battery, it doesn't last that long, which is why I have to use an external USB power supply. But it's been so long since I've done a video that I completely forgot to grab one and hook it up. So I actually finished the video. No, actually I didn't finish the video, because I was kind of checking the audio recorder. I was just like, let me just double check, make sure it's still recording audio, and it wasn't. So this is the next day, and you can tell it's the next day because as I think I captured the part where I was saying like my yard guy hadn't been out here yet. He was out here today, so the yard looks a bazillion times better. You could probably tell that. I think I'd mentioned like I'd put in the irrigation stuff. So one of the things I still have to do now that my yard guy is gone, for one thing, is I need to hook the hoses back up, because that's one of those things that I did when I knew he was going to come out today. I undid the garden hose and reeled them back up, and I'll have to put them back out here so that way the automatic drip irrigation system will work correctly. But you can see here I've got my drip irrigation system that goes along the entire row. Like we got 3 rows of corn, so got the drip irrigation there that takes care of that. Because I got to tell you, coming out here every day and trying to do all that by hand, that's just it's not a long-term task that I wanted to have to be stuck with doing. I would have done it, but I already knew that, you know, the drip irrigation has worked really, really well in our vegetable garden. So, you know, I just figured I'll just bite the bullet, spend a little bit more money and a little bit more time, and come out here and install these drip irrigation lines on both sides of these fences. So that way it'll give us some privacy, and then it'll give us some food too. So, you know, win-win. But the big thing that I was going to talk about that was a really large project that I tackled, well, was in the process of tackling, I should say. And that is this. So this, I don't know how long it's been since you guys have seen the vegetable garden, but that's what our garden is looking like now. And you can see that I actually elevated the shade cloth. We'll just kind of go in here. I can kind of show what I had done. I saw this from the Millennial Gardener, and I thought it was a really clever idea. The only thing I didn't like is that his rows, or I should say his shade cloth hoops, are a lot shorter. I think he's only using 2 of these, and I have 4. I think he's just using 2 for his setup. But me, I have such a wide area here that I needed to actually use 3 of these guys. And he got away with being able to use 2 of them, but as you can see in the wind, the shade cloth, you know, and those conduit, it's just flexing all over the place. Now they're glued together, so I did use PVC glue. So they're glued together, they're not gonna come apart. But the big problem that I'm having is, you can see right here, that one, the second one there, it's leaning over. And that's because we had a really super, pretty violent storm. It wasn't like super bad, but it was, you know, it was one of those severe thunderstorms that we can get out here, and there was a lot of wind. And that wind just, it did a number on this. And I don't know how many more severe thunderstorms that this setup can go through like that, because it was pulling the conduit off the conduit clamp that I have up there. I actually have to get better. That was for a completely different project. I just happen to have conduit hangers laying around for a different project that I was doing. So I put the conduit hangers up there, but they're not the right size. These are 3/4 inch PVC conduits. And that, I believe that hanger is supposed to be for like a 1 inch or 1.5 inch conduit. So I need to get 3/4 inch conduit hangers, so that way, because otherwise right now it'll slide back and forth. But it does a pretty good job. It's meant to just kind of capture it and keep it in place so it doesn't, you know, it just kind of keeps it in place. I guess that's the best way of putting it. All right, so yeah, got to get the correct PVC hangers so that way these guys will stay in place. And then also what I've done, oh, by the way, I guess maybe I should show how our garden is doing. I haven't planted a whole lot yet this year, and I'm really lagging behind right now, but that's because I have this other project that I'm working on that has a little bit of a higher priority right now. But we got some spaghetti squash going on down there. You can see these things are looking really good. That's just, it's huge. I don't know if you can tell, but that monster, we got a few of those, or more going over here. And then we have, it's hard to tell, but it's kind of mixed in. But we got delicata squash. You can see there's some little guys going on down in there. Here's another spaghetti squash. The spaghetti squash is just kind of like spilled all over into the delicata. You can kind of tell the difference. You see how the delicata leaves have this silvery finish to them? Whereas this is the spaghetti squash, it's just more of a flat green. So that's how you can tell the difference between them. I have some onions that I planted in there. The ones that I transplanted are doing really well, but I planted seeds in here too. And that's just grass, that is not onion. Yeah, that's just grass. That's not onion. Same with this, that's just grass. Which is unfortunate because I did plant a bunch of seeds in there, but none of the seeds germinated. But the same seeds, the only reason why I have these 2 onions growing here is because I started those in a hydroponic little arrow garden thing that we have in the garage. And so I started them there and then transplanted them out here. And they're doing okay after I transplanted them. I just don't understand why I didn't get any germination out of the other onions. So I just planted these the other day. You can see that rock there, that rock there, that rock there, and then that rock there. That's gonna be where our yellow squash is this year. Last year, they were down probably right around this blue tarp. I wanna say, yeah, the blue tarpish area is where the summer squash was last year. So I've moved them over here. This area here, I'm still just kind of working on. I'll explain that. This is our romaine lettuce that's gotten so mature that it started flowering. So I just cut the flowers off. Because you can't eat it at this point. Like, you might be able to get away with eating some of these bottom leaves down here. The ones that still look fairly okay. But these top ones that are darker green, they're gonna have this really super, like, grassy taste to them because the romaine it's just so mature at this point. But yeah, there's still some good leaves on it, like you can see down here. This one here's got some good leaves on it that you can still eat in a salad, which I will probably wind up doing. But I keep them around just so because we can pull the other leaves that we wouldn't eat off and feed them to the chickens. The chickens love it. And then over here we have artichokes that we're growing. This one I transplanted from the hydroponic. Actually, all of them were transplanted from the hydroponic one, but this one was kind of a late. It germinated really late, so I just moved it in here like last week, I think, and it's kind of struggling a little bit. You can see that it's got a little bit of browning on the leaves. The leaves aren't really a healthy-ish color. You can tell this is what it should look like. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be that big, but the leaves should be a lot darker green, and this one is. I'm hoping that it'll pull through because it would be nice. Because you only get 1 artichoke per plant, so it's like artichokes are. I understand why they're so expensive. Because I mean, look up all the real estate that this takes up, and you only get 1 artichoke per plant, because it'll grow right out of the center right there. And that's kind of what I'm waiting on. And we got turnips over here. We already had a harvest of them. These ones were late germinators as well, so we're just kind of waiting for those to get ripe so we can pull them out. So yeah, that's I got a lot more. Oh, and then I forgot about that. Over here, this right here, I planted green onion. Yeah, green onion. Yeah, this is all green onion that I just sprinkled a bunch of seeds down here. So I have to wait and see. Maybe this is just an area where green onions will do okay, but regular onions, I don't know, they just don't germinate. I don't understand. I don't know. Carrots, it's the same thing. This right here, I gave up. I planted like a bunch of carrot seeds in here, nothing. And last year, it was the same thing. Although last year, I had put the carrots on this row right here. This used to be all carrots. down. I think pretty much the whole line was all supposed to be carrots. Nothing, not a single thing germinated. I thought, okay, maybe I just did it too late in the year, but there's no excuse for this one because I did not plant this one too late in the year. That's spiderweb. Okay, so to help to secure everything, this was the project that I've been working on. I dropped some quick tubes. Unfortunately, I had to cut them in half because this is the way that I initially put them in. So I had to dig out around each one of these T-posts. You can see here that I dug down. This has more dirt in it. I think some dirt kind of fell in there too, but it's down a little bit further than that. I want to say it's like maybe 6 to 8 inches that I dug down, and then wrapped the form around and duct taped it. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with these ones. I think I'm probably going to wind up just dropping a tube over the top after I dig down. I'm going to have to undo that temporarily and drop the tube without cutting it, because the concrete, it just weighs so much. The duct tape can't hold it. And I saw it do it on this one, so I thought, okay, maybe if I wrap a little bit more on this one, it'll work. Nope, still spat out a little bit here. Yeah, this one just really, well, it got hit by a bunch of rain too, so it's really in bad shape. I didn't even get to fill this one all the way full. Yeah, so I had to dig down, like I said, dug down about 8 inches on every single one of these guys. And then the plan was to come back and top off that one, the last one that I just showed you over there, and then fill in all the holes that I had dug here, fill in all the base with more concrete. But one thing I've not said anything about, and I figure that now's as good a time as any, but that's like, I've really been struggling. And I'm not saying this because I'm going to be opening up a GoFundMe or anything silly like that. No. But my lower back has just been not literally killing me, but oh my God, it's really been something else. I've had back problems before, but it was more of a if I lifted something wrong, I'd wind up with some back pains. But what I'm experiencing now is back spasms. And a back spasm is a lot different than just your normal average backache that you can get. I mean, backaches can be very painful, and they'll immobilize you so you can't really move around or anything. I get that. But a spasm is something that just, you feel your back, it'll start to tighten up. If you're doing some stuff that's kind of aggravating it, it'll start to tighten up. And then if you continue doing what you're doing, it eventually will just instantly, it's just, your pain level goes from maybe 2, 3, 4-ish, from your just average back pain that, for me anyways, that I've been dealing with forever and a day. It'll go from 2, 3, or 4 to about, I would say, a 9. And the reason why I say a 9 is because I've experienced 10 level pain before, and I'm not gonna do 10 level pain any injustice by stating how painful it is, kind of compare. The thing that caused number 10 pain was when I had to get kidney stones blasted with some kind of radio frequency technology thing. I forgot what they call it. Some sonic, excuse you, some kind of sonic blast that they do to break up the thing. And they had to insert a little, what do you call that? It's not a catheter. It's a stent. Put a stent in there, yeah, to be able to allow it to remain open and allow those little fragments of kidney stones to pass through. That is a 10 level pain. That is a 10 level pain because I was vomiting from being in so much pain, and I've never experienced the kind of pain where you just puke. It was something else. So I cannot say that a back spasm is a 10. Maybe for some people it's a 10, if they can kind of compare it to something like what I'd experienced that was a 10. I know that it's hard to define levels of pain, but that was the most pain I've ever been in, was that 10. So that's where my reference point is. And I would say back spasms are about a 9. I literally cannot stand when I have a back spasm. It'll spasm and I instantly drop to my knees. Unless I have something I can hold on to, because I've had back spasms while we're, my wife and I were in shopping, going grocery shopping, and I'm just pushing the cart. It wasn't even like it's not like we go shopping and get 70-pound sacks of, whatever, just normal grocery shopping. All I was doing was just pushing a cart. I might have lifted a case of flavored water, something like that, and that's not that heavy, right? So it's just that thing where it just instantly. So let me stop rambling on about that and get right to why I don't know if I'll be able to finish anything anymore. And that's because when I was trying to do this project, I was just pushing through it. My back was getting really super tense. These sacks of concrete are, I think they were 60-pound sacks, 60-pound sacks, and it takes like a good 4 or 5 sacks, I think, to fill it up to where this one's filled, which is about right here. So 4 or 5 sacks, and so I had to carry out a bunch of sacks of concrete out here. Not carrying them, but I had to pick them up from where I have a bunch of concrete that I bought a while back. Pick up the sacks, put them in my bulldozer, into my tractor, and then I drive the tractor over here and get them as close as I can, and then from there, I put them on a wheelbarrow them in. But I have to lift it, and I have to lift it. I had to drag the concrete mixer. You can see where it's sitting in this little happy spot over there, that orange thing. Take that and drag it over here, and then load up all those concrete sacks into the cement mixer and mix it up. And you can see where I got. You can literally see I got that. I was done with that one. I got this one done, and I was getting spasms. I was starting to get them, but I was like, I want to get this done, So I came over here, and I was only able to fill this one up to right about there, and that was it. I actually didn't have enough concrete sacks stacked out here. I was gonna have to go back and get more. And as I was trying to get that and filling in the very last little bit, shoveling in the last little bit of concrete into that, the spasms were just coming a lot, the frequency was really high, and I still had all my gear sitting out here. So I had to clean up everything, and I knew I had to clean up everything. So I was thinking am I gonna be able to go lift up those concrete sacks, bring them all the way back out here to finish that one off, and still have enough left to be able to put the equipment away? And I just had zero confidence in it. And at this point in time, it's gotten to the point, just the other day, I was out there before I went and installed the drip lines on the corn rows. I was out there weeding and just pulling up weeds. I was starting to get back spasms, they weren't full on. It wasn't a real huge spasm, but it was enough to where it was sort of okay, if I continue doing this. It was when I was thinning out the seedlings and pulling weeds too. Just doing that, I was getting back spasms. If I can't even go out here and pull weeds, how am I gonna do projects like this? So I've been getting shots in my back. I've had to go to a pain clinic, and they're injecting lidocaine and some steroid. I forgot what the heck the name of the steroid is. So I get these shots every 2 weeks. I've had them 2 times now, and I get a little bit of relief the next day. And at this point, the first time I got them, it was maybe the next day. This time I got the shots, and I was feeling okay for a couple of days, maybe two and a half days. I was feeling okay, but that's not enough, really. I don't want to sound like I'm ungrateful or that but I have to have more more mobility, not mobility, because as you can see, I'm walking around just fine. But that's because I haven't really done anything. Thankfully my job is I type on a keyboard, so I don't have to worry about lifting stuff. But as far as just my own personal goals, I like to do things like weightlift. I like to do boxing and kickboxing. And I have a lot of projects that I have planned for the property that are all going to require me to be able to lift things and to maneuver things around. I can't do that when my back is this messed up. It's really frustrating, and because it just makes me think if I want to get this done, I might have to hire some people to come out here and do it, because I can't. It just really concerns me, because You know, I don't know if I ever told you guys how old I am, and I'm like 53, so it's not like I'm a spring chicken, but was in really good shape. It's not like I'm in bad shape now, unless you just talk from like a pure, you know, 100% ability or whatever standpoint, then no. But for the most part, I mean, like I'm in really good shape, you know. But unfortunately, unless I'm able to get this taken care of, I don't know how good a shape I'm going to be in. I'll still, like, I've been like going on the treadmill and doing stair stepper that we have here, but I can't do kickboxing and boxing. I sure as heck can't do any weightlifting. It'll wreck my back. So, you know, I really have to just hope that these shots are going to do the trick, because if the shots don't do the trick, the only other option that I'm going to have is surgery. And not really wanting to get back surgery, but I can also tell you that my desire to be able to do things for myself without having to rely on other people doing them for me way beyond outweighs any risk or pain that I'm going to go through by having to have back surgery. You know, I'll take that temporary pain rather than just watch myself sit here and continue to not be able to complete things and just do basic things like lift and weed my own garden. You know, that ain't gonna happen. So that's why I really have not made any videos in a while. You know, I can get back to doing my product reviews too. I have plenty of things that I can review. Oh my God, I have a lot of things that I can review. So I don't think I'll be doing stuff like this, but that's the problem, is that I still need to figure out how I can come out here and finish this project. I haven't made the videos just because when I do make a video, it takes so much longer to make a video when you're putting, you know, having to reposition the camera and explain what you're doing and, you know, show certain things or get close-ups of this, close-ups of that, and showing this up. It takes so much longer to do any projects when you're recording them on a video. For those of you that have never done that before, just to kind of let you know. And that's why most of these projects that I've done around the property, I haven't bothered recording them, because I can't run the risk of, you know, moving around and doing extra stuff that could have my back, you know, just start spasming. So I just haven't taken any risks like that, and I'm just trying to knock projects out as quickly as I can. But yeah, that's the reason why I haven't made any videos in a little while. But like I said, worst case scenario is if my back is really just gonna continue to be a pain for the foreseeable future and I won't be able to do anything like this out here for a little while, I'll just go and make product reviews, review videos, because I know that a lot of you guys enjoy that. Maybe I'll find a music video or a song that I really, really like, another one of those songs where I kind of extend them and extend a song too. I haven't done that in a while, so those get a lot of views too, so I'll give that a shot. Maybe we'll have to see. But anyway, thanks for stopping by, and if you made it all the way to the end of the video, wow, you are a trooper. I really appreciate that, and I would really appreciate if you you know, thumbs up the video, and if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything, and that way you won't miss any other videos where, like, hey, you never know, maybe I'll record a video where I'm doing something out here and I'll have a back spasm, and you can get your kicks off watching me drop to the ground in extreme pain. I don't know if you're into that or whatever, but you know, I don't judge. Thanks a lot, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye.